Hello, welcome to our OWL session. We're excited to offer you today's topic, Girl Scout ceremonies. First of all, we want to thank you for owling with us. Let me introduce myself briefly. My name is Monica Jasso, and I'm the Volunteer Services Manager for our council, which means that one of the things I oversee are all of our trainings across our huge council. I'm sure you've probably noticed our cute owl mascot. For most of us, owls represent wisdom. Also, the word OWL stands for Online Workshop for Learning. Girl Scouts of the Desert Southwest offers monthly OWL sessions and on various topics. These sessions are completely optional and available to all in the Girl Scout community or not. OWL sessions are also recorded and archived for future reference. So let's get started with our topic today, Girl Scout ceremonies. This OWL session will serve as a brief overview of Girl Scout ceremonies. Our goal tonight is simply to provide you with a more in-depth look at these special occasions and how you can help your girls plan them. There's about 30 minutes of material to cover on various pieces of information. So, for example, we're going to go over what is a Girl Scout ceremony, what makes them so special. We'll discuss some of the different types of Girl Scout ceremonies. And last, we'll go over how to help your girls plan their ceremonies. After all, it's their troop, right? Bottom line, by the end of our OWL today, you should feel more comfortable understanding the different types of ceremonies, as well as helping your troop plan them on their own. You can see here on the slide some of the ceremonies we'll cover. For example, opening and closing ceremonies, investiture and rededication ceremonies, Court of Awards, bridging, flag ceremonies, and flag retirement briefly. So let's get started with trying to define first what a Girl Scout ceremony is. There is no doubt that Girl Scouting is filled with special memories and special times. If you've ever spoken to a longtime volunteer as they reminisce on their Girl Scouting years, you've probably noticed that often some of their fondest memories center around the ceremonies they participated in. There is just something really special about a Girl Scout ceremony. Ceremonies heighten the significance of special times, allowing girls to share these moments with others in a memorable way. First, ceremonies help Girl Scouts mark special events throughout the year, such as bridging to another level, earning a Journey Award, receiving a Girl Scout pin, badges, patches, etc. Second, they help reinforce values by giving life to the beliefs set down in our promise and law. Ceremonies also provide opportunities for girls to share their feelings and reflect on what they have accomplished individually or together. It's that ritual passage they experience together that makes it so special and memorable. And above all, a Girl Scout ceremony is girl-led. It's up to us, the adults leading them, to help them plan and participate in their own ceremony. Whatever its purpose, every Girl Scout ceremony helps girls share in Girl Scout history and traditions, as well as create their own special memories. We're going to spend some time briefly discussing each of our most common Girl Scout ceremonies next. But before we go into the different types of ceremonies, I want to remind us all that there are many ways to do many things in Girl Scouting. Like much in Girl Scouting, there are a few hard and fast rules for planning and carrying out activities, including ceremonies. What really counts is that the occasion has special meaning for the participants and the girls are involved in its planning. The best and easiest way to make things girl-led is really simple. Just ask them lots and lots of questions. For example, girls, do we want our ceremony to be simple or elaborate, formal or informal? Do we want to use candles, flowers, or ribbons? Will it be a girls-only ceremony or parents too? So as you can see, there are many decisions that the girls will need to figure out. We'll discuss later on how to plan ceremonies in a little bit more detail. For now, I just wanted to highlight the point that there are many ways to do many things in Girl Scouts. Feel at ease knowing that there is no right or wrong way to do a Girl Scout ceremony as long as the girls are leading it, mistakes and all. So as we proceed, it's important to remember also that our Girl Scout year is officially from October 1st through September 30th. There will be a natural progression of the ceremonies that we talk about as they happen throughout this year. But there's really never a right or wrong time. It just really depends on your troop, when they started, what they have going on. Okay, so let's go over the most common types of ceremonies next. These are going to include the opening and closing ceremonies, investiture and rededication, court of awards, bridging, flag ceremonies, and flag retirement. The first ones that we'll talk about is the opening and the closing ceremony. In fact, they may be so common to us that we often overlook them as ceremonies. So first of all is the opening ceremony. This is a ceremony used to open your troop meeting, event, or activity. It usually will consist of the Pledge of Allegiance, the Girl Scout Promise, and or the Girl Scout Law. The Girl Scout sign is appropriate when reciting the Girl Scout Promise and Law, as we know, and here's a sample of the Girl Scout sign. An opening ceremony can be any or all of these three. It can even be something entirely different that the girls choose instead, like a song, a poem, a script, etc. The important thing is to remember that this ceremony's purpose is to officially mark the beginning of their Girl Scout time together. Closing ceremony is done at the end of your troop meeting, event, or activity. It's important to do because it finalizes your Girl Scout time together. It allows the girls to share a special moment together and say goodbye. Plus, it also lets your parents know when the meeting is officially over to minimize those early interruptions or distractions. While girls can again choose what they would like to do for their closing ceremony, many troops choose to do the friendship circle to close. A friendship circle is easy to do. Girls stand in a circle and put their right arm over the left as they hold hands. Lastly, it is common for the girls to sing a song of their choosing before undoing their friendship circle. Remember to include all girls in participating in both the opening and closing ceremonies and even take turns leading them. Opening and closing ceremonies are the most common ceremonies you will do and are just as important as the others we will discuss. They're important because they provide a framework in which to work, a routine, and meaning. The next Girl Scout ceremony we'll talk about is an investiture. An investiture basically welcomes new members, girls and adults, into Girl Scouting for the first time. People participating and even observing in this ceremony are introduced to the importance of the Girl Scout Promise and Law. Traditionally, during this ceremony, a pin is presented. Usually, a troop holds an investiture early on in their Girl Scout year to mark a new beginning. If you started your meetings and have not had an investiture yet, that's okay, but you want to plan one as soon as possible. An important thing to consider in planning the investiture, or really any ceremony, is how to include parents in the ceremony. It can be an impactful way to engage them into the troop. Consider having parents pin their Girl Scout during the ceremony as one way to include them. For an investiture, there is usually some sort of script, poem, song, or other reading that is followed. There are many options available to use, or you can have the girls create their own. During an investiture, to be a little bit more specific, the person being invested says or recites the Girl Scout Promise, either individually or together as a group. They receive the appropriate Girl Scout pin, and they are welcomed into Girl Scouting. There are a few notes worth mentioning regarding the pins. Very important is that daisies and brownies do not wear the Girl Scout pin. Daisies receive the Girl Scout daisy pin, which looks like a daisy flower. Brownies receive their Girl Scout brownie pin, which looks like an elf. Juniors and above, including adults, receive the Girl Scout pin. There is a contemporary type at the bottom left and a traditional type here on the bottom right. Also, our Girl Scout slogan is do a good turn daily. Do a good turn daily is the long-time tradition said to Girl Scouts the first time they receive their pin. They are pinned with their pin upside down. Once the girl has done a good deed out of her own initiative without being told, she has earned the right to turn her pin right side up. That's what we mean by do a good turn daily. Rededication ceremonies are an opportunity for girls and adults returning to Girl Scouts for another year to renew their commitment to the Girl Scout promise and law. A rededication ceremony is often held in conjunction with an investiture, but it doesn't have to. It's also typically done at the beginning of every Girl Scout year. Court of Awards is our next ceremony. I like to think of a Court of Awards ceremony as the Girl Scouts equivalent to a school's award assembly. Court of Awards is a special ceremony that recognizes girls' accomplishments. It is here when girls are presented with their badges, patches, pins, certificates, and any other recognition they earn throughout the year. Volunteers may also be recognized during this ceremony. It's just as important to celebrate them for all the work that they do as well. The Court of Awards can be held any time during the year at any location and as often as the troop would like. The goal is to make a Court of Awards ceremony not so often that they're no longer special, but not so far in between that the girls forget what they did to earn the recognitions they will be presented. One key thing to remember about Court of Awards is to make them special and not just another event or another ceremony. Your theme will go a long way to help you with that. Making sure you don't hand them patches in a Ziploc baggie, for example, will be key. Here are some different things you can do to make receiving these recognitions special. I'll give you a minute to kind of just look over this slide. There's a lot of great ideas and examples. For example, you could give them the recognitions on a pipe cleaner, or what we call a Chanel stem in a flower pot. You can put them on paper airplanes, for example, or if you have an art theme, maybe in a crayon box. So there's just some of the examples that you can see here. There's a lot more if you go online, maybe Pinterest, the internet. You'll find a lot more options. Next is our Girl Scout bridging ceremony. There are 6 Girl Scout levels in all: daisies, brownies, juniors, cadets, seniors, and ambassadors. A bridging ceremony marks a girl's move from one of these levels to the next. Bridging is an important transition in a Girl Scout's life. It's a defining moment when a girl becomes aware of her achievements and is ready for new adventures and responsibilities. Celebrating this change should be fun, personalized, and memorable for everyone involved. And most of all, it should be designed by the girls in true partnership with their adults. A fly-up is a bridging ceremony for Girl Scout brownies, bridging to Girl Scout juniors. Girls receive the Girl Scout pin along with their brownie wings. Bridging ceremonies usually take place at the very beginning or end of the Girl Scout year. It also involves girls of the level that you're moving up to, greeting them on their new journey. One of the key aspects of a bridging ceremony is the use of an actual bridge, archway, or a symbolic representation of it. You might want to check with your nearest program center to see if one of these is available to check out and use, or look to your local neighborhood for perhaps a bridge that's already at a local park, or you could also create the illusion of a bridge, and that would work just as fine. There's also a picture here on this slide of what we call a bridging kit that is sold in our program centers. So it's everything put together so that you can provide to the girls if you'd like to do it this way. It includes a certificate, a patch, a membership star for the year that they have completed in Girl Scouts, along with the disc that goes behind it, the pin that they will need, and a bridging badge that goes on the front of the uniform as well. Check with your local program center to find out about these bridging kits as well. Here are some examples of bridging ceremonies. In the picture on the right, you can see how juniors are greeting their newest members as she actually bridges over, literally. In the other picture, you see how they created their own representation of a bridge, which works just as well. Next is our flag ceremony. A flag ceremony is any activity that honors the American flag as a symbol of our country and all the hopes, dreams, and people it represents. Flag presentations are a very special and important part of any ceremony. They may take place in meeting rooms, outdoor settings, large auditoriums, on stage, or even on horseback. The American flag is carried by a group called a color guard for protection during the flag ceremony. There is a completely separate training detailing the steps involved in the presentation of our flag, including the calls and the proper folding of the flag. So we really can't go into detail it too much, but please know that flag ceremonies are some of the most important and special ceremonies that Girl Scouts will participate in. Retiring a worn American flag is a special type of flag ceremony. This ceremony ends with the burning of the flag and disposing of the ashes in a respectful manner. All flag ceremonies really share one thing above all, and that's respect for the flag. Our last Girl Scout ceremony is a Girl Scouts Own. A Girl Scouts Own is an inspirational girl-planned event that lets girls explore their feelings around a topic such as friendship or the Girl Scout promise and law. It is never a religious ceremony. Poems, favorite songs, skits, spoken words, special readings, or other forms of expression are typically used, and it can be done at any time of the year. There are many other Girl Scout ceremonies in addition to what we have covered today. For example, International Thinking Day is to celebrate our Girl Scout sisters across the globe. This is when girls can receive their WAGS pin, which looks like this. The bronze, silver, and gold ceremonies can be held to recognize those girls in your troop who receive this respective or very prestigious award. A journey ceremony can be one to celebrate the completion of their journey adventure. A Girl Scout Sunday ceremony gives girls an opportunity to attend their place of worship and be recognized as Girl Scouts. You can also hold ceremonies to mark the Girl Scout Week in March, which includes the Girl Scouts official day we started in this country on March 12th. Founders Day celebrates the birth of Julia Gordon-Loeb. This is a great time to pass on the many facts that make our founders so special. Lastly, you can hold ceremonies when you are outdoors or around a campfire. Now that we've kind of gone over some of the key ceremonies, I want to spend a little time in how to plan them. After all, our Girl Scout motto is to be prepared, right? The Journey Adult Guides and the Girls Guide to Girl Scouting have really great information on how to help girls plan their ceremonies. First, make sure you devote adequate time to plan the ceremony with your girls. Don't forget you'll need enough time to get invitations out as well. Second, take all safety precautions, especially when using candles, fire, or when girls are constructing bridges or on platforms. Don't forget to refer to volunteer essentials and safety activity checkpoints for reference. Girl Scouting operates on the principle that girls grow, learn, and have fun by making decisions, doing, and discovering for themselves. That is why it's important that the girls do as much of the planning for their ceremonies as possible. Ceremonies are opportunities for the girls, not the adults, to express themselves. Girls should have a part in making their own memories. That is why planning should include the girls' ideas and input. As the girls get older, their responsibility for planning will expand. Keep in mind that different levels and or groups will have different abilities, of course. And lastly, be flexible. Let the girls make mistakes and learn from them. It is your function to guide the group and provide an environment for their creativity. To help with the planning, our Girls Guide to Girl Scouting divides the ceremony into 3 parts: an opening, a main section, and a closing. An opening is where guests are welcome and the tone is set. This is where your theme comes to be really important. The main section of the ceremony is the reason why you have gathered. And the closing summarizes the ceremony. Girls can participate in friendship circles and thank their guests at this time. Each of the ceremony's parts offers plenty of room for the girls' creativity and individuality. Their ceremony should always focus on paying tribute to Girl Scouts as they move forward. Again, the best way to plan, especially with the girls, is to ask them lots of questions. So here in this slide, you see a lot of the questions that you could ask. For example, you could ask the girls, what type of ceremony? What is the purpose? When are we going to have this? What time? How long? What is our theme? What decorations do we want? Do we need any props? How will we express the theme throughout our ceremony? How many invitations do we have to do, if any, and send out? Are we making or are we buying them? Where will people sit? How will we set up the room and the space? Will we offer snacks, refreshments? Who's responsible for bringing those? What items do we have to budget and pay for? What's going to be our overall cost? How will the ceremony begin? Who will do what part? What songs, poems, etc. will be included? Who will do that? What will the main section consist of? Who will be responsible for that section? How will it end? Who will do the ending? Who will record the ceremony for the troops' scrapbook or take pictures? Do we need to do a rehearsal for this ceremony? And when do we do that? Do we memorize what we're going to say in the ceremony, or can we use cue cards? And lastly, of course, who's going to do the cleaning up? So these kind of give you an idea of how to start putting together a ceremony with your girls so that it's inclusive of their input. To summarize, we have talked about the opening and closing ceremonies that occur at every troop meeting or activities throughout the year. We also went over an investiture and rededication ceremony that typically occurs at the beginning of the Girl Scout year to celebrate new and returning members. Court of Awards are the ceremonies that occur during and throughout the Girl Scout year to present the accomplishments they have earned. A bridging ceremony, usually at the end of the Girl Scout year, marks a Girl Scout's move from one level to the next. And lastly, the flag ceremony and flag retirement ceremonies are really special events that can occur at any time of the year. That concludes today's OWL session. We hope this has been helpful to you and your troop. Remember, this will be archived on our website, so you can view it anytime you'd like, or maybe refer parents, girls to view it as well. So thank you for your interest and attention. We look forward to making these OWL sessions beneficial to you. Until next time, yours in Girl Scouting.